the narrow plain of Marathon in eastern Greece, a battle rages that will alter the course of Western civilization. On one side, the army of the Persian Empire, the most powerful fighting force in the world. On the other side, the army of Athens, half its size, led by the famed Greek general Miltiades. This is a battle of military brilliance in the face of overwhelming odds. A battle for the future of Greece and for the supremacy of the ancient world. Two civilizations are about to collide. East meets West on the plains of Marathon. Death comes swiftly. For 6 days, a brutal attack by a faceless invader stains the soil red. Those not butchered are enslaved. The aggressors are the heavy infantry of the mighty Persian Empire. They are called Immortals. The victims are residents of the island of Euboea in the Greek city of Eretria. 600 Persian warships had set sail on the Aegean Sea and swallowed every Greek island in their path. But Euboea is not their final destination. They're heading to Athens. 5-year-old commander, Alexander the Great. It's his time now.
Alexander has this kind of larger-than-life aura about him. He's handsome with a muscular build, and he's extremely charismatic. His troops pretty much worship him.
In less than 5 years, he had managed to carry out a major strategic plan from Greece to invade Persia and destroy the Persian Empire. In 5 years, he managed to suppress his own domestic opposition, and then finally was able to force a cataclysmic battle in modern-day Iraq on the plains of Arbela, where he destroyed the last remaining Persian army, and then by right of conquest became emperor of all of Persia.
Some say Alexander's pedigree destined him for greatness. They believed he's a descendant of Hercules on his father's side and Achilles on his mother's. Alexander's empire now stretches from Greece to Egypt to modern-day Afghanistan, one of the largest in the history of the world. But Alexander's appetite for power and glory is insatiable. 5 years after he defeats the Persians, Alexander is ready to take on a new opponent. He stands with his 32,000 battle-tested soldiers along the banks of the
Ionia, down to Athens, Corinth, Sparta, all those states whose names pop up in history. Each city-state was a self-contained society, had its own lands, its own army. But aboard his warship, the Persian commander Datis cares about only one of these city-states, Athens. He's so confident he'll be able to destroy this historic city, the only question in his mind is exactly how he'll destroy it. He can either attack Athens directly from the sea, is one possibility. This is a bit difficult. Athens is walled, and an amphibious assault from the sea against opposition is pretty iffy business. So he decides not to attack Athens head-on, rather to pick a spot about 25 miles away from the city along his line of route, and to land there and figure one of two things would happen.
Either the Greek army responds and comes out to meet him, or he would land, assemble his army, and simply march on to Athens from the ground. So given the choice between the land campaign or an amphibious landing of Athens itself, he chooses the land campaign.
Datis directs his fleet of 600 ships about 26 miles away from Athens at Marathon. He moors his ships in Marathon Bay and disembarks on the skinniest beach. The Persians then make camp on the northeast side of the plain, next to the Great Marsh.
The Persian army is about to slam into Athens like a Category 5 hurricane. The Athenians know surrender isn't an option, but they're divided on how to prepare. Should they hunker down behind the city walls or march out to meet the Persians in battle?
Some in Athens believe that an open field battle against the Persians is suicide, but one Athenian disagrees. His name is Miltiades, and he has a personal history with the Persians.
Miltiades is a very interesting character. He comes from a prominent family in Athens, and when he's about 35, he takes over a Greek colony in Ionia on the edge of the Persian Empire. He rules there as a tyrant. This makes him very unpopular in Athens.
In the late 6th century BC, Miltiades' home on the Hellespont Peninsula is engulfed by the expanding Persian Empire. He's forced into military service. Now wielding a Persian sword, he must fight along his conquerors. The Persians soon spread north, cross the Danube River, and invade Scythia, modern-day Eastern Europe and Asia.
Miltiades was in charge of guarding the bridges across the Danube over which the Persian army had come in order to go into Scythia and prosecute the campaign.
Finally, after 3 long years in Scythia, Miltiades decided he'd had enough.
Miltiades had never been a big fan of the Persians, and he tried to get other Greek generals to agree that what we ought to do is burn the bridges behind Darius and his army and let them die of starvation or be killed by the Scythians. Other Greeks would not go along with it, but it was Miltiades' idea, and it was picked up by Persian intelligence. So Persian intelligence were not very happy with Miltiades, as you might expect.
Miltiades flees to Athens, but he's not welcome there either. The people of Athens still remember Miltiades as a tyrant and lock him up at the first chance they get.
3 years after his arrival in Athens, Miltiades faces the death sentence for tyranny, but he's got an ace in the hole. He knows the Persian game.
And the Persians are on their way, looking to destroy Athens.
The Athenians not only spare Miltiades' life, they make him a general. But Miltiades has to wonder which fate is worse, execution or being hacked to little bitty bits by the Persian warriors.
Miltiades chooses to face the Persian blade, and rather than hide behind the walls of Athens, he wants to meet the Persians on the battlefield.
But the final decision on whether to fight is not his to make. Athenian democracy extends to the army too. So when an argument erupts over what to do at Marathon, the Council of 10 generals must decide what to do. Attack now, or retreat and try to get help from other Greek city-states.
The vote is 5-5. The tie-breaking vote falls to a man named Callimachus. He is the polemarch. It's a ceremonial position in the Athenian army. Miltiades makes an impassioned case to Callimachus, saying, "It's up to you whether Athens is reduced to slavery or rises to become the greatest of all the Greek city-states." He explains that failure to fight now will shatter the democracy along factional lines and make them easy prey for the Persians. Callimachus is convinced, and he votes to attack.
Miltiades gets his war. He leads the entire Athenian army, roughly 10,000 strong, 26 miles east to the plains of Marathon. The odds are overwhelmingly against Miltiades. The Persian force is colossal. More than twice the Athenian size. 20,000 infantry, 3,000 archers, 2,000 cavalry.
Miltiades takes a look at the situation and realizes immediately he's severely outnumbered. He's not only outnumbered, he's outgunned in the sense that there are fairly substantial archer and cavalry contingents.
Even if the Athenians can hold back the Persian infantry, they have no way to counter the Persian war horses. It's a massive mismatch.
Cavalry is one of the keys to Persian military success. They were one of the first armies to fully integrate horses and heavy infantry for a devastating 1-2 punch, and funnel their enemies into the chomping jaws of their main infantry lines.